Have you ever been influenced by somebody who said, let me help you do this, it's going to be unreasonably easy? Yeah, of course. Of course, I think that's how people sell things.
If you're not maximizing your potential based on your own standards, you're not going to be fulfilled. And if there's anything this world needs more, it's more fulfilled people.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another very special, as always, episode of Next Level University, where we teach you how to level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. We hope you enjoyed our latest episode. It was number 941. Today, for episode number 942, maximizing your potential can't be easy. I was on a podcast, actually, well, if you're listening to this, it's Friday, so 3 days ago, if you're listening to this. And it was a very powerful conversation. And one of the awesome parts of being on other shows is oftentimes you will, I don't want to say disagree with the host, but you won't necessarily have the same opinions. And we started talking about struggling. We started talking about sacrifice. We started talking about suffering. And the host of the show said, I think suffering is something that can be avoided if you can shift your mindset. And I said, I just outright disagree. I cannot agree with that because I have suffered more over the last 5 years than I've ever suffered in my entire life. And I don't think that any amount of mindset shifting would have helped me. I don't believe that. And this is what we came to. I said, imagine this. I said, Alan and I always use the gym as an analogy. We're two people who value fitness and we've worked out for a long time. And I think fitness and resistance training particularly are good mirrors for life. I think they represent life in a very good, powerful way. I said, so if you go to the gym and you can bench press 500 pounds, and that is you absolutely maximizing your potential in that moment. That is all you can do. And you go in the next day and you only do 200 pounds. You're not growing at the same rate as if you were doing heavier weight. You're not maximizing your potential. So when the title of this episode, maximizing your potential can't be easy. If it's easy for you, by definition, you're not maximizing your potential because you're not on the outskirts of what you're capable of. This is going to be my story, Alan. I had this come to me. Okay. How often do you hear about an elevator that crashes? The cables just snap and the elevator goes from the 78th floor to the ground floor. Not often, right?
Nope.
Unless
it's a Keanu Reeves movie.
That's true. Every Keanu Reeves movie, pretty much.
Yeah.
One of the reasons that doesn't happen is because the weight that the elevator is rated for is way, 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 way more than they ever allow people to put in it. It might say the maximum weight is 4,500 pounds. That's all you can have. That's not the maximum amount of weight that the elevator can hold. They can probably hold way more than that. It's not maximizing its potential, and that's why it's safe. If it was maximizing its potential, you would be risking the cable breaking. You would be risking having things go wrong. It's the same with planes. It's the same exact thing. There's always room. There's always a buffer built in for safety. And that just speaks to my point. Maximizing your potential also, it can't be easy, but when you get to the outskirts, that's when things start to happen. That's when mistakes get made. That's when things get hurt. You pull muscles, you make mistakes in business, whatever it may be. So I think that over the last year or so, Alan, I've had a very big shift with my perspective when I hear people say, you can do this easily. I will help you do this easily. If you can do it easily, you're not maximizing your potential. You're just not. And that's what we wanted to bring to the table today, because I think that a lot of people want to, if you go out there and you make $100,000 and it's real easy, it's just really, really easy for you. What if you put your head down and you really got your stuff together and you really, really were willing to make certain sacrifices? You were willing to struggle through some things. You were willing to suffer at points. Do you think you could turn that $100K into $1 million a year? I do. Because I've seen so many people who are very wealthy that aren't necessarily maximizing their potential. My perspective in that has really, really shifted. And Alan's been telling me that for years, but I had to see it to really to really understand it. So that's the point of this episode. If it's easy for you, I don't wear that as a badge of honor anymore. I really don't. If it's easy for me, I should be doing more. I should be doing more. 7 episodes a week is brutal. It is brutal. But if we went back to 1, that would be easy. That would be easy. And every time it got easy, we upped the stakes. So don't take pride in it being easy. Take more pride in you really, really, really building something. You really forcing yourself to extend your capabilities and become more, become greater. I don't think easy is a badge of honor anymore. I really don't.
Kev, I need to pivot this a little bit and ask you some questions, because when Kevin and I were preparing for this episode, I felt, I don't want to say inauthentic, but I don't have a lot of times in my life where, for whatever reason, maybe it's because I grew up with the tragedy of my father passing away when I was 2 and seeing the trauma around that and just having a challenging childhood in general. Maybe, for me, I never had any belief that life was supposed to be easy. I've never felt that way. I've never, ever, as a matter of fact, it's the opposite. Like, for me, I grew up knowing that life is challenging. And I have many stories I could tell about how challenging my life has been. And I'm not going to, I don't wear that. And at the very end of my speeches, I always say, I do not wish for you to have an easy life, but a challenging and deeply meaningful and fulfilling one. I do not wish for you to do what makes you happy, but rather to do what makes you great, because what makes you great is what's ultimately going to make you happy. I used to think that was like a fairly common belief system or paradigm to live from, and I don't believe that anymore. I think that's the biggest difference. We talk about belief all the time, and how the earth's core of who you are is belief. It's belief about the world. It's belief about yourself. It's about belief, your philosophy about how things work, how things are supposed to work. And one of my exes, I think, grew up in a paradigm where life was fairly easy. And I was growing up in the opposite paradigm, where life was very, very challenging, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually challenging. And I don't think either one of us just consciously as kids decided, I'm going to choose that life is challenging and I'm going to choose that life is easy. We just developed these paradigms, and I've never, what you just said, Kev, I no longer wear that as a badge of honor. I will tell you this, I've made many mistakes in my life. I've definitely had some misbeliefs and misunderstandings, and I've been learning and growing, and I understand more at 33 than I did at 30, than I did at 25, than I did at 20, and all the way down the line. But never once have I ever had the belief that life is supposed to be easy. I just don't. I've never worn that as a badge of honor. And I think that's actually a strength, because when you have a belief that life is supposed to be easy, when it gets really hard, which it always will, by the way, you're going to think something's wrong with you. You're going to think something's wrong with your life. And then you're going to go on Instagram and see everyone else's seemingly easy life, and you're going to think there's something wrong with your life. I'm telling you, we've interviewed the millionaires and the billionaires and the famous people. They do not have it easy. Even some of the people who have it easy, that easiness is actually what's made their life challenging on the back end. Because it was too easy, they didn't grow a lot, and now their results far exceed what they're capable of, and now they're struggling just to stay afloat, and they're not necessarily fulfilled. So my question for you, Kev, is this. Where do you think that belief or that badge of honor that you mentioned comes from? Like, where, and I mean this authentically too, if I had known that any part of you wore easy as a badge of honor, I would have probably tried to illuminate why that's not necessarily serving you. Mm. Where do you think that came from?
I think it's valuable in society. It's valuable in society to say I made $100,000 and it was easy. I didn't. It was brutal. When I made that $100,000, one of the hardest years I've ever had. But I think it's just one of those things of, one, it's human behavior. If this podcast, both of our businesses, I mean, the overall business, but both of the businesses that you and I lead would be way more successful if we said it's very easy. You know, I think it's sexy. And I think that's what people want to hear. And I think, and this is good because Alan and I talk about this all the time behind the scenes. Anything that you hear and is a credibility hit, so it hurts somebody's credibility with you of, oh, wait, you want an easy life? So in your mind, you're thinking, well, something's off there. That's not going to serve you. Usually, I think the masses, the majority of human beings think the opposite. So would you rather hear, I know what you would rather hear, but think about this if you're out there right now. Have you ever been influenced by somebody who said, let me help you do this. It's going to be unreasonably easy. Yeah, of course. Of course, I think that's how people sell things. I think that's how people sell things. If you work with Alan and I, will we make it easier for you? Yes, because we'll help you skip steps, but it's not going to be easy. It's going to be challenging. Because if you're maximizing your potential, it's going to be challenging. I just think it's human nature, and I think it's a societal belonging. If you are more successful than other people and you tell people it was easy, I think it makes you feel good. I think it makes you feel good because not everybody likes the grind. Not everybody, I don't want to say is attracted. What's the word you use? I think it's an R word.
Resonate.
No, Bezos in 94, Eminem on the cardboard box.
Reverence.
Yeah, you have reverence for that struggle where I don't think other people do. Because I think that a lot of people are struggling not by choice. And they don't necessarily know how to get out of that struggle. So it becomes part of their identity. You know? I don't know if I'm explaining.
I have a really good story for this.
Please.
I just came up with it on the spot. It's not the one that I was planning on telling. Kev.
So group coaching was definitely an experience for me. It's something that I had never been involved with before. Any kind of coaching aspect in my life, I wasn't really sure what to expect. So I was hugely skeptical when I signed up, and getting into the group and getting to know the people was really, really cool. Everybody's kind of moving towards the same goal. And I definitely started to see the value in what Kevin and Alan were presenting to us. PPT for me was something that was really huge. I was looking for a system to help me kind of keep track of the things that I had to do every day to make sure that I was productive. So I definitely saw the value in that right away. Deconstructing your goals and finding out what you need to do to get there. And then laying it out and tracking it every single day. For me, that was huge, and it's something that I saw the value in even after the program was over. So I really enjoyed seeing everybody's growth and watching everybody kind of move in the same direction at the same time. Having that group chat on WhatsApp is hugely beneficial. If you're scared, or if you're struggling, or if you're having a great day, it's just always there. And we were always able to plug into the chat, and we were talking to each other on our weeks off. And I feel like I got so much value out of it, and I am so grateful that I took the leap and I decided to join.
When Emilia and I first got together, I'll never forget, this was our third date. On our third date, I went to her place, and at the time, when she got back from Providence College, she was still living with her parents, saving money. She was in real estate, and now we live together in a condo. But back then, I was living with my mother, she was living with her parents, and so we would, visit each other. This is our third date. Her parents are very successful entrepreneurs, and they live in a beautiful mansion. You can call it a mansion. And I came in to the home, and this is the first time I've ever been there, right? And there's these big, beautiful doors, and the foyer is gorgeous, and the stairway up. I mean, it's genuinely just drop dead gorgeous home all around, and everything's very well kept, right? And I said, "Wow, this is a beautiful home." And Emilia immediately said, "Yeah, my parents worked their ass off." And I remember I had this moment where I was like, oh, thank God. Thank God she cares more about their hard work than this shiny bullshit. And I'm saying that because I'm serious. I've been with people in the past who care so much about the mansion and so little about the work ethic. And guess what, people? You can't have the mansion without the work ethic. Wanting an extraordinary life while simultaneously wanting to stay ordinary is impossible. It's not a thing. It's not real. And I'm so grateful Emilia cares so deeply about the inner virtues that created the mansion. She doesn't even care that much about the mansion, right? Same with me. And I care more about our peak performing team. I care more about my own physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual development. I care more about who I am as a man. I care more about me maximizing my potential than I do any of that shiny stuff. I had all the shiny stuff. I had 150 grand in the bank in my early 20s. I paid off 84 grand worth of debt in a single year. I literally was promoted multiple companies, 65 to 85 to 115, or to 105 to 115 to 125 to 185, all in my early 20s, right? I had $3,000 cash in my pocket wherever I went. I could afford anything I wanted, anytime I wanted.
Ballin'.
And it was not fulfilling because I wasn't maximizing my potential. And believe it or not, compared to what we're doing now, Kevin, that was easy. That was really easy. So the truth of the matter is, what matters most is virtue. What matters most is you maximizing your potential, your greatest level of contribution, and yes, your quality of life. But I think most people are overly focused on the quality of life. Emilia and I were driving to her parents' place last night. We had dinner. My mom, her brother, my mom, her mom, my mom, her brother, and her. And we all had dinner. Wonderful evening at that beautiful home. And we're driving in my 2008 Subaru, man. And we're driving there, and I'm literally sitting there like, Kevin and I literally grossed over 100 grand in the last 3 months. And I'm driving a 2008 with a broken headlight out. I'm like, this is what I'm talking about. This is why we will be so successful. Because I had this moment of like, I've never had a brand new car. Kev, I made 180 grand a year, and I have never driven a brand new car in my entire life. I know it sounds nuts. That is why I will be so successful. Because the shiny stuff comes later. The shiny stuff is a byproduct of virtue. The shiny stuff will never fulfill you. I promise you, I've had a lot of shiny stuff. It's never going to fulfill you. It can make your quality of life better, but it won't make you a better person. And whether it's, the millionaires or billionaires or semi-famous people or famous people, what I'm certain of is this, coaching all these people. If you're not maximizing your potential based on your own standards, you're not going to be fulfilled. And if there's anything this world needs more, it's more fulfilled people. And this deep belief that life is supposed to be easy, it might be messing things up for you. Because I had that paradigm for a very short time, and I'm telling you, I was drinking a lot, and I was partying a lot, and I was having a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun, but I wasn't happy. I wasn't fulfilled. I wasn't maximizing my potential. I didn't have a mission. I was unkind to people unintentionally when I was drunk or whatever. I just wasn't as good of a person, and I think that at the end of the day, that's really what Kevin and I are trying to say here is the struggle bus leads to greatness. The party bus leads to mediocrity. You just can't tell yet.
And I think it's one of the things I said on that podcast too was I agree that there was a lot of toxic hustle of, there's this Steve Harvey video where he says, you only sleep 4 hours a day. If you only sleep 4 hours a day, then that's fine. You have to do what you have to do to chase your dreams. I don't agree with that. We're holistic, right? Alan and I are very holistic when it comes to that. And I've really shifted my perspective on a lot of things. And I just think that now we went from toxic hustle to I only do what I want when I feel like it. And that's going to bite people in the ass too. It has to. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. That, again, imagine Alan and I get to 1,500 episodes. And we're making $1 million, a couple $1 million a year. We have 1 million, a couple million downloads. And one day we wake up and we completely forget what it's taken to get here. And we say, well, Now we just kind of show up and we do what we want. Doesn't matter. There's so much momentum. It doesn't matter. You're not seeing the downside of that because you're still successful. And then the problem is you're trying to help people achieve success. Again, and this is something I'm dialing in, but I got to stop eating like a fool. But if you saw me and Alan on the road traveling, when we travel, oftentimes, I mean, if we are in a hotel, it might not have a fridge, whatever it is. Sometimes we eat fast food. And you might see that and say, how are these guys in shape? It's because of the 15 years for me and the 7 years for Alan. That's what it is. It's the momentum. So we're really trying to lean into heart-driven, but no BS. Heart-driven. I want to see everybody succeed. I don't want you to feel bad about yourself. I want you to look in the mirror and say, okay, am I accurate in my thinking, and am I actually going to get the results that I am planning on getting based on the effort and my awareness and my knowledge and what I need to unlearn and all that. But it's no BS. It's straightforward. We'll tell you what we have done to get here. And if that is something that you resonate with, you will like us. And I hope you do. If it doesn't resonate with you and you say, well, I want to take an easier road, then you'll probably end up not listening to us, and that's okay. But we've realized pretty clearly that the people who listen to this podcast really want to maximize their potential. They really do. That's why they listen to us. That's why they come to the things we do, the live things, the book club. I can't say that's why they come to book club because I'm not there on book club on Saturday. So if you're somebody who does that, obviously you're focused on maximizing your potential. And I'll never say, or I'll never tell you should expect it to be easy. Because by definition, maximization cannot be easy. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way.
You will never, ever hear an Olympic athlete who won a gold medal say it was easy. And the reason why is because winning Olympic gold medals and being the best in the world at something, no matter how talented you are, is not easy. And yeah, I'll say one thing and we'll go. Jordan Peterson has this excellent thing that he says. He says, when you hear a motivational speaker, they say rah rah and you got this and all that, but the wiser part of your nature when you get home kind of knows that it was like the painting over of rotten wood with a fresh coat of paint. The wiser part of your nature knows when you wake up the next day and don't want to get up and you're not pumped to do your disciplines, the wiser part of you knows that motivational speech was kind of full of shit. I want everyone to hear this, because what if you just gave up this belief that life is supposed to be easy? Just gave it up. And you woke up and you said, you know what? Instead of wanting it to be easy, I'm just going to want it to be meaningful. I want it to be meaningful. And by the way, if life was easy, it would be less meaningful. It's taken so much for Kevin and I to get to where we are. That's why it's so deeply meaningful. And if it was easy, it wouldn't mean so much to us. And I think that meaning matters more than easy. And that doesn't mean every day has to be an absolute struggle. That's not what I'm saying. There's a sweet spot here. But that's what I would encourage everyone to do, is where are you falling into the entitlement trap of believing that success is supposed to be easy? I don't know where we got it in our heads that like everybody should be successful without like a lot of effort. I don't get it. I don't think I'll ever understand that.
No,
like my grandfather lost both his parents when he was 15 years old. He grew up during the Depression, and he put himself through WPI night school as a mechanical engineer. And he worked every day, 6 days a week from sunup to sundown. He was my grandfather. I got the chills just saying that. For some reason in this generation, we like don't think we should have to work. It like doesn't make any sense to me. If we like do 3 hours of consistent work, we like think we did a good job. Isn't that like wild to you?
Yeah.
There's something messed up about that. You know what I mean? And I think it's technology, and I think it's society, and I think it's the overcorrection from some of the toxic masculinity. I understand. But if you listen to this show, you want to maximize your potential. I'm telling you, just wake up and go, okay, today's going to be challenging, but it's going to be deeply meaningful, and I'm going to tackle it. And I'm not going to be perfect, but I'm going to wake up tomorrow and I'm going to tackle it again. And I'm going to wake up the next day, I'm going to tackle it again, because Kevin and I are the most fulfilled we've ever been, but we promise you our life is more challenging now than it's ever been. And that's just, they go hand in hand. They go hand in hand.
Yeah, you don't have to run from challenge. That's what I would say. Next Level Nation, as you know, for the entire month of April, we are doing a giveaway where if you leave us a review on your podcast platform of choice, screenshot it, send it to myself and or Alan, email, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you want to send it. You'll be entered in a drawing to win $100 at the end of the month, $100 Amazon gift card. So take a minute of your day for a potential $100. I would say that's a pretty good return on your investment. And at a deeper level, it will help Alan and I impact more people and help more people get to the next level, because when you look at a show, you look at the reviews, just like you look at the ratings and all of the feedback on Amazon when you're checking out a product. So help us help more people. We appreciate you. We love you. And $100 is potentially yours.
Kev, first name only, but shout out to the person who reached out. Who was it? First name?
Hold on. Let me check here.
Kev's going to pull it up.
I don't know off the top of my head. I'm out here jeffing.
All right. While Kevin looks that up, I'm going to talk a little bit about group
Nick.
coaching.
Shout out to Nick. Emailed us.
Shout out to Nick. From where?
I don't remember. Michigan, I believe.
Shout out to Nick from Michigan for screenshotting a review, sending it to us, and also having some really good suggestions for episodes to do. I think one of them was on confidence, right, that he wanted to do. Awesome. Okay, group coaching, if you haven't heard about it yet, which obviously you have because it's all we're talking about these days. Group 6 is closing. As a matter of fact, you're listening to this on Friday. It actually might be closed. Reach out to Kevin or myself as soon as possible. Right now, we have 2 spots, and we have at least 3 verbal yeses of people who want in that we're still waiting to book officially. Reach out to Kevin or myself as soon as possible. Lock your spot. Achieve more in 90 days than you ever have. And if you used to live in this entitlement trap and you used to think life is supposed to be easy, most likely you're not that consistent. With love, you're probably not that consistent, because consistency is the most brutally challenging thing in the world. It is so hard. I'm 44 days in a row, 30 minutes of exercise. Sounds easy, super, super challenging. It's been very, very humbling. So if you feel like you used to live in that entitlement trap and you have this paradigm that life's supposed to be easy, not your fault. Maybe you grew up in that. If you want to pivot that, you want to shift that, you want to start being consistent, you want to start achieving more, maximizing your potential, group coaching is for you. Click the link in the show notes. All the information is there. You'll see a funny video of Kevin and I during bulk season. And we hope to hear from you soon.
Next Level Nation, as always, we love you, appreciate you, grateful for each and every one of you. At NLU, we do not have fans, we have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Please reach out.